Hey guys, it's your host, Bailey Cartwright. Welcome to the Stronger Scars podcast, where I invite others to dive deep into the ups and downs of physical and mental scars. Hi everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of the Stronger Scars podcast. It's Bailey, your host, and I'm doing a solo episode this week. I wanted to come on here and talk about self-confidence, and not because I'm a pro in it, not because I think I have all the answers in it, but honestly because I've been struggling with my self-confidence. And whenever I think I can be vulnerable and possibly help somebody, I like to grab the mic and talk. So I want to talk all things self-confidence this week. And honestly, like, to be honest with you guys, this is my fourth time hitting record because I start talking and I'm like, holy crap, like I sound dumb, or what are people going to think about that specific thing I said? And it just all goes back to self-confidence. Like, I need to believe in myself and believe in the content that I'm recording. So we're going to be positive and we're going to talk positive today. But first and foremost, this is a podcast about athletes and injuries and mental health. And I want to give a little bit of that perspective of confidence in, your time if you're an injured athlete. I think it's really hard when you're hurt and you're on the sideline to believe in yourself. I personally remember that was like when I first got hurt. The first year and a half was probably the lowest point in my life, believing in myself, loving myself, just because it was so new to me. And it was kind of like I hit a brick wall, because these feelings and emotions and the lack of respect I had for myself was all coming in at once. So I think that, as athletes, we base our confidence a lot of times on playing time, success on the field, how many goals we're scoring, if we're in the newspapers, if, people are cheering our name. A lot of times it's so many external factors that when those things are gone, we don't know what else to base our confidence on. And obviously the beginning of Stronger Scars, if you guys don't know, came from my lack of self-confidence in my body, and specifically the physical appearance of my legs and the scars. So my injury compartment syndrome, you get really big scars after surgery. And I have always, growing up, felt like I was a pretty girl and like I was confident in myself, and I never had imperfections. So I didn't know how to love them. I didn't know that I could love them and feel confident. And so whenever I got these scars, I was so ashamed, and I covered them, and I had makeup I tried to cover them with. I wore pants in the summertime. Like, I was just really ashamed, and I felt like everyone was staring at me. So my body image, the confidence I had in the body that I've had, my whole life, completely went down the drain. And I think that's something a lot of, injured athletes may deal with, is you're not working out as much, you're not able to work out as much, or you have a scar like I did, and you feel embarrassed and ashamed. And, I'm here to tell you that the second that I believed in myself and that I felt pretty and beautiful with those scars, that was honestly the point for me where I hadn't had that turnaround. I was like, holy crap, like, I'm hurt, I'm not playing soccer, but I can still love myself. I can still be confident in who I am as a person and not just an athlete. And in today's world, it's so easy to care about, external, how we look to people. And, do I look pretty enough? Is my body skinny enough? There's so many norms that we just let be what we live by, or, the beauty standards of today's world. One of the things I think I fall victim to all the time is, like, clearly social media. But there's some influencers who I follow. I like to watch their videos on YouTube or whatever. And I look at them and I'm like, holy crap, they're so pretty. I feel, ugly compared to them. But when you really sit and think about it, like, you cannot compare yourself to influencers or just, anyone in general on social media, because sure, there's people out there who are authentic and don't try to change who they are to put out to the world, but a lot of times either it's filtered, it's edited, there's, influencers, for example, like they get products for free to try and then talk positive about how that brand influenced them. So a lot of times, like, it may seem like they have all these wonderful products and all these nice things and it makes them look so pretty, and it's all made up. It's all for a paycheck. And that's something I have to constantly remind myself, because I'll be watching a video and they got a new makeup product and they say it changed their life, like made them feel so much more confident. And I'll be like, I have to go out and spend the $80 for that. And it does nothing. It doesn't do what they say that it did. And that's a trap that I find myself in more often than not. And I'm ashamed to say that, because, we should be able to see the signs now. But I think with body image and just feeling confident in yourself, it's, you know, put on the makeup that you want, that you like, put on the clothes that make you feel the most confident. You know, if you want to show your scars, great. Like, I think it's amazing to embrace something that changed your life for the positive, for the worst, whatever it may be to you. Finding that love, I think, is incredible. And that's kind of what changed my life. But also, if you don't like your scars and you feel more confident covering them, that's okay too. Like, no one can tell you how to love yourself and how to feel confident. I think that is one of the biggest things I want to highlight, because there's no textbook on how to be confident. And a lot of times we read these books or we watch these interviews of people talking about self-confidence, and even this one, me talking about things that I think worked for me, didn't work, things I'm struggling with. Everyone is so different. And just because something worked for me, or trying something new made me feel more confident, doesn't mean it's going to make you feel more confident, and it shouldn't. You can only decide what makes you feel the best version of yourself. um Another, aside from the whole body image confidence problem, another thing I really struggled with during my injury was, I was so afraid I was never going to play again. And if I was going to play again, that I was going to suck. And that really hindered my confidence, because whenever I did have an opportunity to practice, or was starting to get back to amping up my progression of going back to play, I was so lacking in confidence that I wasn't able to just freely play and be happy. And I think, a lot of times it's all retrospective. We can look back and say, oh, I wish I would have been more confident, and just kind of played with that feeling of I may never play again, like do it for fun. And it's really important to work on that mentality during your recovery, so you can be prepared for when it is time to get back into playing. You can't play with fear. I I I think one of the things with this is a quote, we've all heard it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I think that kind of goes into play with injuries. Like, you got hurt, and it's important. I think it's so important to take that time for yourself to be like stalking in it. Those few days, it sucks. Your life's about to change for a while. And I think that's okay. That's good for your confidence, because if you've been an athlete your whole life, never dealt with an injury, it's good to deal with it and understand that, you know, life's about to change. I think it's okay to take that time for yourself. Um, and then after that, you put your head down, you do your rehab, you, whatever the protocol is. And whenever it's time to get back into practice, get back into playing, you can't play afraid. You have to act like, you're gonna miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You have to take your shot. And it may be bad at first. It really might be. I know. I remember when the first games I played back, I was so bad. I was embarrassed. But at the same time, I worked so hard for that. So I tried to put that in the front of my head rather than the negativity of not playing well. I think too, like, one, there's that part of confidence of not being a good enough. And that is something I don't think is instant. I think it's definitely something that comes as you progress back and as you start getting your, from my example, soccer, like you start getting your touch back, you start practicing more things. It's okay for confidence to come with time. Um, but another factor that I think, I struggled with personally, I'm sure a lot of injured athletes struggle with, is the fear of getting hurt again. And that can make you play timid. It can make you play with a lack of confidence, not believing in yourself. And I mean, it's hard. And that's just, it's one of the realities of getting hurt. And it's one of those things that, I remember getting ready for practice, and there were days where I literally would just be like, should I just act like my legs hurt? Because I don't believe in myself. I don't believe that I can go out. I feel like I'm just going to be in the way of people. I'm going to slow the drill down. I'm going to miss the shot, whatever. So I would honestly think to myself, it's like, should I just act like my legs hurt? And when I was younger, that I probably did do that. And I'm not proud of that, but that was just how much confidence I lacked in myself. And, as I got older, it was more of, heck yeah, like I want to go practice. I may suck. I'm going to say to my teammates, listen, I'm just coming back. Like I might slow the drill down. I'm sorry, but this is really important for me. And I think having that bit of confidence to be an advocate for yourself and just be like, yeah, it's not going to be pretty. Like I'm just coming back, but I deserve this. I got here for a reason. I believe in myself. I believe in all of the effort I put into my rehab to get me back to this point. And just being able to speak up and say, it's not going to be pretty, but I believe that I can do this. So that was something that I wanted to highlight a little bit about being injured. It's I come on here and talk about all the time about how hard it is to be injured, and I do think that if you're someone who's hurt, or someone who's hurt, you probably understand the confidence issue. And I don't know if there's a one word answer for how to better your confidence. I don't. And I think that people who tell you that there is, that's bull crap. Um, I think at the end of the day, like I said a few minutes ago, like it comes to time. And, you know, one of the things I try to do is ground. When I was hurt, I would try to ground myself every day. So I would wake up, I would think, okay, what am I doing today? Am I going to rehab? Is it an off day? Am I getting to finally run on the treadmill today? What is my activity of the day? And let's say it was the treadmill day. I would think to myself, okay, I am going to give it 100% effort. And as long as I'm doing that, I am going to believe in myself. And I think basing things off of your effort and what you put into it, instead of what you're getting, what reward you're getting or how you're doing it, I think that is when that mentality shift can be very productive for injured athletes. That might have been a little bit wordy, but I think my point got across. But I I have a lot of things I want to talk about that aren't really athlete related. They're just kind of like life in general with self-confidence related, because like I mentioned, I've really been struggling with, I think, just I'm kind of in a rut. I know a couple episodes back I kind of talked about mental health and myself and just kind of what I've been going through. And one of the biggest things is definitely self-confidence. If you've known me in the past, I probably have always seemed like a pretty confident person, and I have been. I've always, like, even when my life wasn't going perfect, like when I was hurt, I found a way to always pretty much feel like I still belonged, and like I still felt pretty, and like I don't know, I just believed in myself. And I think lately, more often than not, I'm on the other side of that spectrum and I'm just not feeling like myself. I'm kind of just, I don't know, just not feeling it. So I was sitting down and I was thinking of some of the things that I can personally work on that I think could be helpful for other people to hear about their self confidence and things that may help them feel more confident. So, this one, this has to be one of the biggest reasons people struggle with self confidence. It doesn't matter what other people think. And we put so much of our self-worth on that. I know in so many episodes I've talked about, like, when you're hurt, you think everyone's looking at you. You think all eyes are on you. You think people are waiting for you to mess up. And you have to realize, like, there's so many people in the world, and like, people as beings are usually pretty selfish, and they're only worried about what they're doing, how they look, what, they're consumed in their own thoughts, and they're really not criticizing your every move. They're not watching your every move and seeing how you are reacting to things, how you look all the time. So we have to stop caring and putting so much emphasis on that, because it's hard. Like, I know there's times, like, I'll just be like at the grocery store, okay? And I know other people feel this out there. I'm at the grocery store and I'm like checking out, and I don't have makeup on, like, I don't feel necessarily pretty. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed because I look bad. And these random people, I like have this idea in my head that they're staring at me and thinking this girl's so ugly. They're not. They're really not. And like, I've we need to start realizing that, you know, not everyone is always caring about what we're doing or what we look like. And that is just one of the biggest things I struggle with, is like, it's easy to get caught up in thinking that the world revolves around us. It really is, but it doesn't. And um I don't want you guys to think I'm like being self-conceited by saying that. I just think that's a common feeling that a lot of people share, is just like, we think people care more than they do, and they don't. And that's a good thing. We don't want everyone to care what we're doing, or how we look. As long as, one, of course, obviously you like how you look, you like what you're doing, and two, like, the people you love, the people you surround yourself with, like what you're doing. They don't even need to like how you look. Um, but and it's okay. Like, I think it's okay to care about what other people think of you. Like, I'm not going to come on here and say, I know a lot of times when you think of self-confidence, people are like, you can't care what people think. We're human beings. Like, we care what people think. And I think that's okay. But you have to manage that, and you have to be able to put yourself first. You have to be able to put what you think first. And I think that's where I've been struggling, is I don't not care what I think, but I care what other people think more. And I think that's the switch I need to flip, and care about myself thoughts before what other people think, and just not put as much emphasis on what other people think. But as humans, we obviously, like, we're human beings, we care what people think about us. That's just the end of the day. No one's going to tell me they don't give a crap 100% what people think about them, because I'm going to say you're lying, because everyone does. Um and then I think this is something I've always done pretty well, but I think some people may struggle with this one, is surrounding yourself with people who you can be yourself with. I know for a fact, like, it's really easy, especially in college and high school, to get wrapped up in these friend groups that make you feel really insecure, make you feel like you don't belong, you're just kind of there to be there, and just doesn't help enable you to be the best version of yourself. I think, I can think off the top of my head, a few examples of people that I went to college with who went through this problem, and it brings you down because you can't be yourself, and these people aren't letting you be yourself, and that in return makes you think yourself isn't good enough. And I think, the second you can really just reevaluate where you are, the people you're surrounding yourself with, and prioritize the people you're spending your time with, and make sure they're making you feel welcomed and like you can be your true authentic self, is so important. And with that, I think, so I recently got this daily devotional. And it's just, if you guys don't know what a devotional is, basically it's a Bible quote at the top, and then, the author's explanation of what that means to them, or like a description of, putting the Bible verse into like terms that are easier to understand. I got one called The Confident Woman by Joyce Meyer, and I've been really liking it. It's just kind of something I can do every night. Um, that reminds me of like little things that we're so lucky to have in this world that make me feel confident. And one of the things that was my devotional the other day was kind of trust and how trust can play a role in confidence. And I didn't really think about it like this, but this is a quote from the book is when we trust others and they trust us, it increases our confidence level. When I feel that people confide in me, that people can trust me to be reliable, to, whatever it may be, just that feeling of people trusting me, it makes me feel so good about myself. And then I was like, when I trust other people, like let's say Nick, my husband, for example, trusting him makes me feel good about myself because I know I have someone. I know I have someone in my corner who I can confide in, who loves me, unconditionally. And that mutual trust is just something that really builds your confidence. So I would say that, you know, if and if there's someone you can put trust in and you feel like they trust you, that can really help increase your confidence and just knowing that you're somebody's person that they can, you know, talk either whether it's talk about or just trust you with, you know, something important to them. I think that's a really cool feeling to know that you can be important, something important in somebody's life. So that kind of stuck with me. Hopefully that can stick with you guys. Um, when we trust others and they trust us, it increases our confidence level. And with that, this was something really interesting. I actually saw this woman do like a little segment on TikTok about how gossip can affect our confidence. And like obviously when people make fun of you or talk about you, it's hurtful and it makes you feel less confident. But don't talk about people like this is an easy lesson that we should all learn once in our life is don't gossip, don't talk about people. Like if you don't want people to talk about you, don't talk about people. I think I I'm a victim of this. um, Actually, I've gotten really good. I don't talk shade on people. I don't need to talk about people anymore. Like the people in my life are the people who I love and the people who want my life. And I don't have anything I need to say about anyone anymore. But high school, college, yes, that's what we do. We gossip, we talk about people, and it's really hurtful to people and their confidence. It's hurtful to your own confidence. Um, So I thought this lady talking about gossip was really interesting because we think of gossip and it seems like it should be child's play and like you just kind of laugh it off. But I think it's really valid that, you know, the more we can eliminate gossip, the more confident people will feel. Again, going back to the human nature of us caring about what other people think of us, when people are talking about us in a negative manner, that clearly has a super negative effect on us. So, treat others as you'd like to be treated. Don't talk about people. Don't talk negative about people. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. I think that's a very basic and amazing quote to live by. So I think that's something that I like think the past like year and a half I practiced pretty well was no gossip. Um and I challenge you guys to, if you find yourself doing that more often than not and you don't like it, you want to feel more confident, don't talk about people because putting people down doesn't help you get up. I think that's a misconception we have in the world is, you know, talking bad about someone else, making them feel ugly, making them feel less than they are can help you boost your confidence. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who was a mean girl in high school, that doesn't work. That is not how it works. If anything, it makes you feel less good about yourself because who wants to be the person who's bringing other people down? That was a rant. I hope I hope that my point was kind of brought through that. Just, you know, I think with kindness comes confidence. I really do. I really, really do. Um, and with that, with kindness comes confidence. This is me and Nick were actually talking about this. I think this point I'm about to make is so big. I always feel my best when I can help people, when I feel like I made a difference in someone else's life. And the first thing that comes to mind instantly with this is like doing service. An organized service, sometimes it feels a little bit like you're just checking a box, like you're just doing something because you need to do it. And when I say organized service, I mean like going to a food bank, that kind of like a team thing you would do. Sometimes it just feels like you're checking a box. That's one way, may seem more surface level, but that's one way to help others that can hopefully, increase your confidence. Another way is like random acts of kindness. Like if you see someone on the side of the road a homeless person and you're eating a sandwich, maybe give them the other half or give them $1, whatever it may be. But having someone who needs you to say thank you and that you helped them helps you. It helps you, I promise. Being nice, doing something special for someone else, it helps you. My mom, I've always grown up, my parents are both like super givers, just in different ways, but my mom like loves to go above and beyond for people to give them gifts or just kind of like if she knew there was someone at work struggling with money, like giving them gift cards, whatever it may be. And that's kind of rubbed off on me. And like I find myself the happiest and the most confident in who I am when I can go out of my way to help somebody else. And, you know, whatever is going on in the crazy world, the one thing that will never go underrated is helping people. I think we can all come together and agree that helping people is so important, and helping people who don't have the same fortune as you, who don't have the same abilities as you, it goes a really, really long way, and it gives you purpose. Helping people gives you a purpose of something more than yourself. And the second that you can put your effort and time into something other than always thinking about me, 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 you'll find a purpose. I found what I like to believe is my purpose is advocating for mental health and athletes with injury. I really do. I think that's my purpose. I think my injury happened to me for a reason, to come and help people with this. And I think that the second that we find our purpose is when we can be more confident in ourselves. And I'm not being the best example because I said I was struggling with my self-confidence, but you guys get the point. I think that helping others will make you feel more confident. Wake up every day, think of one thing you can do for somebody other than yourself, and make that your goal. I think obviously you guys know I'm an advocate for doing things for yourself, self-care, putting yourself first, advocating for yourself, all those things. But we can't always just be about us. We have to figure out ways we can be a good person, give back to others. And I truly believe if you guys take me up on this and you do one nice thing for somebody else every day, you'll find purpose. And it doesn't have to be something big. Like I've been working on home goods, and just being nice to people when I'm checking them out, and just, being complimenting something, or just having small chat. I've found that as I'm getting growing up, when people are just cold with me and don't want to talk and just have small talk, I feel like I did something wrong, or I don't know, I don't like it. So I try to be overly nice and talk to people and just ask them how their day is doing. It's as simple as that. And it's really been helping me, kind of find purpose and meaning, and just kind of being kind to people. Um, Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, I kind of talked a little bit about in the beginning, but just kind of that whole social media influencer thing. Um, I think I mentioned like I watch YouTube. I watch some girls on YouTube, just lifestyle vlogs talking about their lives and products, makeup, clothing hauls, that kind of thing. And it makes me insecure, and it makes me want to go and change how I look, change who I am, buy more clothes, because I think that'll make me happier. And it just doesn't. Like, it may temporarily fix how you feel. It may temporarily, you have a cute outfit to wear to go out to dinner, but then you come home and you take it off. And I'm getting better, but I still fall to these faults of thinking that I need nice things to be happy and to love myself and to feel confident. And, I think it kind of goes back to like nobody truly cares, about the surface level as you think they do. Because I'll think like, oh, like I need this purse because people are going to see that I'm not carrying this Louis Vuitton or whatever. And I also have on here like never being satisfied with materialistic things. I feel like maybe sometimes, you may be listening to this and not have this issue, but, you know, just being honest with you guys, like I really like nice things. And I'm not like, I'm not proud to say that, but I'm also not like embarrassed to say that. But it's definitely something that I have to manage, because if I don't have nice things, it hinders my confidence. I think we as humans, a lot of times, like, we're buying things because we think they look cool on Instagram or they look cool to other people. Like, if we were to die tomorrow, would it matter? No, it wouldn't. And that's kind of what I've been trying to remind myself more, but it's really hard. And especially with social media, like, people post the best version of their life, of themselves. There's filters, there are so many things that you can do to a photo to make it look like you are like the best thing since sliced bread. And that sucks sometimes because it kills our confidence. It makes us think that we're not good enough, that we're not pretty enough. I'll scroll through Instagram and I'll be like, holy crap, I want to look like that. It's not always real. And we have to acknowledge that. We have to, not put those expectations on ourselves. It's not good that we fake how we look, but if faking how you look makes you feel confident, that's okay. I don't know if I want to say that. I don't know if that's okay. I don't think that's okay. I think we need to believe in who we are as we are. And yeah, we need to believe in who we are as we are. And I'm all for makeup. Sephora sale just started, and yes, I went and bought stuff. I think that's okay. That's good. Like, putting on things that make us feel like our best version, our prettiest version. I'm all for that. But when does it end? When does needing to get more end to feel pretty? Needing to get more clothes to feel the most confident? When does that end? When does the point? That's what I've been struggling with, is like, there has to come a point where enough is enough and you feel confident. And, you know, I'm not saying that everyone needs to feel like the best version of themselves when they first wake up in the morning. Like, I get it. I too like to do my skincare, my makeup routine, put on a cute outfit. But then it's easy to get caught up in more and more and more. I need more and more and more. Like, these influencers have this, have that, have that. So I need it because they look confident on social media. So I need it because I want to look as confident as them. It's a really tricky cycle and we fall victim to it. And that's the world we live in now. It really is. Social media conquers all. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We glamorize our lives for other people, and not only does that hurt ourselves because we think that we have to fake it to make our lives look good, but it really hurts other people who think that their lives aren't as good. So, you know, be conscious of that when you're putting content out there, when you're putting a photo out there. I think it's okay. Filters are great. Filters are great. But you don't need to edit. You don't need to edit who you are. No one needs to edit who they are. Everyone has a place. Everyone should feel like they have a place. If you're not feeling like you have a place, you know, I just want you to know that, like, I think this is, I always say this. I don't know if I've said this on here before, but I'm kind of rambling. I'm sorry, but this is a point I think I want to make, is if you really sit down and think about it, like, there's 7 billion people in the world. And I think it is so cool and amazing how everyone has a different story. I literally told Nick this the other night. I was laying in bed. I was like, isn't that weird? How, like, so there are so many people in the world. Everyone has a different story. I love that. And I think with that is like the point I'm trying to make is there are 7 billion faces. There are 7 billion bodies, 7 billion people with jobs, lives, etc., etc. Everyone's different. And that has to be something that we emphasize and think is beautiful rather than like a hindrance. We shouldn't all want to be the same person. We shouldn't all want to look like the same person. That shouldn't make us confident. So that's my little mushy gushy self-love. Like, you're beautiful. I'll tell you that. Like, more people should tell you that. You should tell yourself that. I love like I love when I see like people post a photo and like a mirror selfie or whatever, and they have like a sticky note on it that's like, you're beautiful, or you're gonna have a good day today. I think, little self talks. I know there's a term, I'm blanking on it, but um telling yourself things, reminding yourself that you are worth it, you're beautiful, you should be confident. Like, I think those are awesome because I say this all the time, but you have to be your best own advocate. You can't expect others to advocate for you if you don't advocate for yourself. Point blank, period. I mean that. Like, I really mean that. You can't expect other people to think think highly of you if you don't think highly of yourself. You have to put yourself first. You have to find your confidence. You have to believe in yourself. It's not an easy journey. I'm in the journey. I don't believe in myself all the time right now. I really don't. And I'm coming on here and I'm being honest with you guys because I think we learn from people's vulnerability. We don't learn from people faking it. We don't learn. I could come on here and fake it and tell you guys that these are the things that made me feel confident. When I don't feel confident, that's not. I saw a TikTok. I just searched self-confidence. I was curious. I saw a TikTok. This girl was like, it's all about faking it until you make it. No, I don't agree with that. Like, don't fake it. Don't fake who you are. Don't fake something you're not. Work on it every day. Journal. Write down 3 things that you believe about yourself, that you love about yourself. And then go do that. I told you, do the 1 act of kindness. Do that. Put a sticky note on your mirror. Work on it. Don't fake it. Work on it and be a better version of yourself. Be the best version of yourself. That way, when you have confidence, it's true, it's authentic. And it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's not going to be something you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm magically so confident with myself. Sorry, that was a rant. I thought that was a very needed rant though. Okay, so my last point, this one I think is a very important one. Don't stay in your comfort zone. This is huge. I have always, well, growing up, I was shy. And like if I had a soccer tryout, I was so nervous and I wouldn't perform well because I was so nervous and just thinking about being nervous. But I think it feels so good to do something that you were worried about, that you were nervous, you didn't think you could do. It feels so good. Like, I have talked in front of some crowds a few times, and before I'm so nervous. I'm like, oh, I could throw up. I don't think I should do this just to tell them I'm sick or whatever. The second that I'm done and know that I did it, know that I spoke my truth, spoke my word to people, I feel so good. It feels so good to do something hard. And the second you can just do something hard, something that you didn't think you could do that made you nervous. I'm a huge person with getting nervous about things. You feel so accomplished and confident in yourself because you did something hard. So, I think that's something else that you can aim to do is put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Trust me, I get it. It's hard and awkward sometimes. And that feeling of like overwhelmness of like, oh my gosh, people think I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm doing. Like something as little as, or I don't know if anyone else has done this, but growing up, I was so afraid to call and order pizza or Chinese. My parents, if you're listening to this, I know you're laughing, but I would be so nervous to call. And then as I got older and they just kind of made me do it, I felt so confident after. And it's just like that little thing of calling and ordering pizza because I was nervous they wouldn't hear me on the phone or understand what I was saying or think I'm just like dumb. The second I hung up and I did it, I was so confident and I was like, okay, what else can I do today that's hard? So that's another little snippet. Like another example is college coaches. If you're a young athlete and you're calling college coaches, that is one of the most nerve-wracking things ever because it's awkward. I'm not gonna lie to you and say it's not awkward. It's really awkward, but you have to do it. And the second you hang up the phone, you go tell your parents like, oh my goodness, like that was such a good conversation. I did so good. And it helps boost your confidence. So do things that make you nervous or that are hard and just kind of get out of your comfort zone. I know with self-confidence, there are probably a million things we could talk about, and everyone is different. And I think that's the beauty in self-confidence is it's about you, yourself. And yeah, I'm hoping that me being open with you guys, sharing some things that I think would help me and possibly help you will make you guys feel like you can do it. You can find what it takes to feel confident in yourself. And it is important. Don't ever downplay what you think about yourself. It is so much more important than what other people think of you. And if you take anything away from today's episode, take that away. Like, what you think of yourself, believing in yourself is by far the biggest priority over what other people think of you. And yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting. And I know today's episode was maybe a little bit different than my normal content of talking specifically about injuries and mental health, but for me, one of the biggest things that has played a role in my mental health has been my confidence level. So I thought it was just kind of important to come on here and talk to you guys about it. So thank you guys all for supporting, and I'll see you next week.